Hello, ghosties. I'm Chance Lee,
And I'm Amanda McAvoy.
and this is That's So Gothic, a movie podcast about girls, guys, and haunted houses. And you know, Amanda, I'm your number one fan.
I'm your number one fan.
My name is Annie Wilkes.
I think one of my clients, Paul Sheldon, might be in some kind of trouble.
You mean Paul Sheldon, the writer? Well, everybody sure likes those misery books.
They had it at the store, Paul.
They said he checked out last Tuesday. Isn't that a little strange?
I guess it was kind of a miracle you finding me.
In a way, I was following you.
You were following me.
Oh, Paul, I've read everything of yours, but the misery novels. You must be a good man, or you could never have created such a wondrous, loving creature as Misery Chastain.
Very kind.
The presumption must now be that Paul Sheldon is dead.
You dirty bird. How could you? Misery Chastain cannot be dead.
Misery Spirit is still alive.
I don't want her spirit! I want her! And you murdered her!
You don't think he's dead, do you?
And don't even think about anybody coming for you, because I never called them. Nobody knows you're here. And you better hope nothing happens to me. Because if I die, you die. I know you've been out. Is this what you're looking for? Eventually, you'll come to accept the idea of being here.
Annie, whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it. Annie, for God's,
Shh, darling. Trust me.
God's sake.
It's for the best. God, I love you.
Released in 1990, Misery was directed by Rob Meathead Reiner with a screenplay by William Goldman. And it was based on the novel of the same name by Stephen Meathead King. I call Rob Reiner Meathead because he played that character in All in the Family. And I call Stephen King Meathead because I don't like him. The movie stars Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes, an obsessed romance novel fan. James Caan as Paul Sheldon, author of the best-selling Misery Chastain series. And a special appearance by Lauren Bacall as his editor.
I know. Didn't we say, like, we're never going to get to talk about Lauren Bacall again?
And then here she goes, and she's credited as special appearance, which I think
Yes.
means they shot her scenes in one afternoon in one location and then
Oh,
just
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. They just wanted to put her on the bill, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, I love seeing her.
Mhm.
This is the story of a fan's obsession turned violent. So Misery grossed 61 million against a $20 million budget,
Hmm.
which seemed small to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It felt, I mean, this movie came out before I was born, but um, it seems like one of those movies everyone's seen.
Yeah, and it felt like a phenomenon at the time.
Mm.
I was born when this
Mhm.
movie came out, and I have this memory of so when I would visit my grandmother, my cousin and I would usually go see one movie in the
Mhm.
theater, and my mom and my grandmother would go see a different movie in the theater.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what we were seeing, my cousin and I. I always just remember what my mom and my grandmother were seeing. And because I remember they went to see Misery, and their movies were always longer than our movies. So we would
Mm.
go and just like sit in the hallway outside the theater. I was too scared to go in the Misery theater. My
Yeah.
cousin went in, and then I think she came back out for some reason, but I don't
Mm.
remember what part of the movie they were at. But that so I do have that memory of it, and people loved it. People loved it then. People love it now. It
Mhm.
has a 91% critical tomato and a 90% popcorn meter.
Wow.
Critics and audiences agree.
Mhm.
Ebert gave it 3 stars out of
Okay.
4. He says that many competent directors could have done what Rob Reiner does here, and perhaps many other actors could have done what James Caan does. Although the Kathy Bates performance is trickier and more special.
Mhm.
And he says the movie does not illuminate, challenge, or inspire, but it works.
Okay. I mean, I think, that's a very shocking review for also still giving it 3 out of 4 stars, but I can kinda see where he's coming from. Kathy Bates is obviously the star.
This was a huge star. This was her star making turn.
Yes. Yeah.
She had been in only a handful of movies before this one. One of
Mhm.
them I've actually talked about on the podcast before, which was Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, Jimmy Dean,
Right.
with
Yes.
Karen Black,
Yep.
icon. Kathy Bates steals that movie. She's
Yeah.
great in that movie. I don't think I realized she was a stage actor before she broke into film.
Oh, I definitely didn't. That makes sense, though.
She had some Tony nominations and some other stage awards,
Mhm.
and the Comeback to the Five and Dime movie was also a play first, so it makes sense that she really glowed in that 'cause
Yeah.
the movie is filmed also like it's a play,
Right.
but this was and I guess in some older movies, she was credited as Bobo Bates.
Bobo Bates.
Bobo Bates.
Okay. Alright.
I kinda wish she had stuck with that.
Yeah, I like that. Could you imagine her standing up to get the Oscar, and there you announce Bobo Bates?
Bobo Bates.
Bobo Bates.
That would be so good. But yeah, she got an Oscar for this. So, this was maybe her 4th movie, and she
Wow.
just really tore up the screen.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, good for her.
She's still acting today, as we know. She's done
Mm.
numerous movies, numerous TV shows. Aside from this, what do you think she's best known for?
Feel like modern audiences probably know her from American Horror Story.
Mhm.
That's kind of actually that was very much an introduction of Kathy Bates to me.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. What about you?
Well, it's funny, I had such a hard time because I was like, "She's done so many things.
Yeah,
Everyone knows who she is. What is her iconic role?" I think this Misery role is one of her iconic roles.
I think so too.
She's in Titanic.
That's right. Oh my god, how did I not say Titanic? Although I just watched Titanic for the first time very recently.
Titanic is a blind spot. I never think about Titanic. I know it's
Yeah.
another phenomenon, but
Yes.
sh I just don't care. I really love her in Fried Green Tomatoes.
I've never seen it, but again, I know that's a phenomenon.
Highly recommend. As a Kathy Bates fan, you will
Mm.
adore the movie. And how can we overlook what I think is one of her most iconic roles, which is as the squirrel lady in Rat Race. Have
Oh,
you seen that movie?
it's been so long. I vividly remember checking that movie out from a Blockbuster. It's been that long. That's so funny though.
She's uncredited. She has this cameo in Rat Race where she Whoopi Goldberg pulls over to ask her for directions, and she
Uh-huh.
says, "You won't buy a squirrel?" And Whoopi Goldberg refuses to buy a squirrel from her. And so she gives her directions that sends Whoopi Goldberg's car careening off a cliff. And the last sign she sees before the car flies off the cliff is, "Shoulda bought a squirrel."
Incredible. Incredible.
Like, it's
Here's your
just so
Oscar for that. Yeah.
something about Rat Race is so stupid, but something about Rat Race fucking kills me. I
I have
love
to
that
watch
stupid
that now.
movie.
Yeah.
I love that I won't go off. This is not a Rat Race podcast. And now she's Matlock. She's Matlock.
That's right. Yes, my mom loves Matlock, and
Moms
I have
love Matlock.
they love it, and I have actually, like, stuck my head in, and I've done that, like, thing where you, like, kinda start a conversation with someone and they're watching a TV show and then you get wrapped up. I have watched, I don't know, 2 like, I think combined probably about 2 episodes worth of Matlock, but it's all bits and pieces. But she's really good in it. I like her. I kinda wanna
I
watch
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
I love it, and I love that for her.
Yeah. Yeah. She deserves it.
I know you love Kathy Bates.
Mhm.
What do you wanna, share about Kathy Bates?
I just love her. I love her general demeanor. Um, I don't yeah, and I mean, she's so good in this. She's so psychotic. Um, I don't know. There's something very like she kind of has like almost a Willem Dafoe energy to her. It's like a little chaotic. Yeah. And it's like very toothy. It's really
Yep.
it's very engrossing to me. It's very enigmatic. Like I'm just drawn in.
She's very charismatic.
Yeah. Yeah, she really is.
She, I like Kathy Bates a lot. You just know when Kathy Bates shows up, you're in for a good time.
Mhm. Mhm. So true.
And she's great because she's succeeded and had this huge career in Hollywood despite not being the traditional Hollywood type.
That's true. Yeah, she really has. I feel
Mhm,
like her career could have taken a very different turn, but she's just been so committed to acting and staying in projects. And she's
mhm.
very respected.
Yeah, she's an icon, she's a legend.
Yes.
We stan.
Yes.
To me, not an icon nor a legend is James Caan, I'm sorry.
I don't know. I don't what's that Kiki Palmer meme where she's like, I don't know this man. He could
Sorry to
walk
this
up to me.
man.
Yeah, sorry to this man. He could walk up to me on the street tomorrow and I wouldn't know this man. I do not know that man.
Yeah,
I think there were a lot of actors who were considered before him, if I remember correctly. Yes.
I got the list from
Ooh,
Wikipedia.
perfect.
James Caan was literally the last person in Hollywood they asked to do this role. It is astonishing.
Yeah.
The part of Paul Sheldon was originally offered to William Hurt
Okay.
twice,
Wow.
Kevin Kline,
Oh, okay.
Michael Douglas,
Uh-huh.
Harrison Ford.
Oh. Harrison Harrison Ford would have been, I think, too much star power. It would have been like
Mm,
overwhelming.
Dustin Hoffman,
Okay.
Robert De Niro, Robert
Okay.
Redford,
Ooh.
Al Pacino, which I I
Oh
would have
my
eaten that. That
god.
would have been great. I would see Al Pacino more in the Kathy Bates role, honestly.
I'm picturing him at the beginning driving his car and he like careens and he's like, "Oh, forget it." Like he's just like, "Oh no."
He makes that noise he made at the end of Cape Fear. Ah, blah, 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 blah. Like, I would have loved that. Oh, that was De Niro. That's not even Pacino. That was De Niro.
They're the same. They're the same.
They were the same for my entire childhood. They were the same person.
Exactly.
Um, Richard Dreyfuss. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Um, late great Gene Hackman. Rest in peace.
Oh, wow. Oh, he would've been really good.
He would have been my pick, I think, out of all of
Yeah.
these.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really liked Gene Hackman in Bonnie and Clyde when I watched Bonnie and Clyde. He was really, really good in that.
Yeah.
But James Caan is in I've only seen him in this
Mhm.
and The Godfather, which is not a movie I care for.
Yeah.
He's to me in The Godfather, which was like 20 years before this, he's a
Mhm.
stud. He's really
Oh,
hot
really?
in The Godfather. The only thing I liked about The Godfather was James Caan's chest hair, and once he gets shot,
Mm.
so is my interest in the movie.
Yeah.
He has a son who's kinda cute, who was
Oh,
in,
who's
like,
that?
I think his name's Scott Caan. He was on the
Oh,
Miami Five-O CBS procedural show.
and I think he was on, like, that, time traveling show.
Sure.
Am I wrong? No, no, no.
I believe you, but I don't remember ti with the one which time traveling show? The one with Jerry O'Connell? Sliders?
No, I think it was a remake or, like, a redo of, what's that one where he goes and, like, he kinda becomes the person in, like,
Quantum
each
Leap?
Quantum Leap. I think he might have been in they did, like, a reboot. I don't think
Oh,
it could be I could be talking out of my ass right now. I don't know why. That makes so much sense to me right now. I'm
I
like,
believe it.
"Yes." Who's the original guy from Quantum Leap? Because maybe it's a similar name.
Scott Bakula.
It might maybe that's why it's just another Scott.
Scott Bakula. I
He has
I'm
the
I'm
most
I'm broken to all men from Scott Bakula. I just think he is one of the hottest human beings that has ever walked the face of the earth. I can't
he
rewatch old
has
episodes of Quantum Leap because I'll
you'll
never
never get
do
over him.
anything else. Yeah.
He has a beautiful head of hair. Beautiful.
Mm. But yeah, James Caan's in this movie. He's there.
Mhm.
He's in a bed.
Yep. I mean, I think, like, he does the role well because the role is just kind of this, he's stuck kinda guy, like, I don't know. Am I supposed I mean, I guess maybe I should be feeling more for him, but, you know, the movie is about Kathy Bates. I don't
I think it makes her performance all the more impressive because she doesn't really have
Mhm.
anything to bounce off of. It's practically a one-woman show.
It really is. Turn the pig.
So the director, Rob Reiner, who
Mhm.
was, Meathead on All in the
Yep.
Family, he he was on a roll in the late '80s, early '90s. He did This Is Spinal Tap, Stand By Me, which is also a Stephen King adaptation,
Oh, yeah.
When Harry Met Sally, and The Princess Bride.
Wow. His bills were getting paid.
Yes.
Wow.
So he was on top, and the screenwriter, William Goldman, also wrote Princess Bride.
Mm.
He wrote All the President's Men with Robert Redford
Oh,
and Dustin Hoffman. Maybe that's why they were
yeah.
considered to be in the movie.
Mm.
And he would go on to write one of my favorite movies, Maverick.
Oh, wow.
So love that. And then shout out to the cinematographer, Barry Sonnenfeld,
Mhm.
who would do the Addams Family movies.
Wow. Creepy house.
And I read that Angelica Houston was considered for the role of Annie Wilkes.
Oh, interesting. I don't think it would have been as effective, but interesting.
Would have been a different tone for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And theoretically, they also asked Bette Midler.
Oh, I would have loved it if there was a singing aspect.
That I could kind of see. I could kind of
Yeah.
see her in this role. But I'm
Yeah,
glad we had Kathy Bates.
I am too.
So this is based on a novel by Stephen King.
Mhm.
Have you ever read it?
I have not read Misery. No. Yeah, you haven't either? Yeah.
No, I've looked at it. I've looked at the
Yep,
book.
yep.
And I find one of the paperback editions really kind of cute. I really do not like Stephen King, but there's a paperback edition of this novel where you open it up
Mhm.
and there's a mock-up of a Misery Chastain book with her
Oh,
and this, bemuscled
yes.
stud like holding her, and the stud has Stephen King's face, and
That's
it's
so funny.
really funny.
I really, really want that now. That is funny.
We would get that one in occasionally when I worked at a used bookstore. I really liked seeing that edition of that
Yes.
book.
I think I'm gonna have to look for that as soon as we wrap up. That sounds amazing.
Head to
Um,
thrift books.
yes. Yeah, I like Stephen King enough. Um, I've never been, like, his biggest fan. Something I realized I really like
Mm.
about Stephen King, though, is that I respect the hell out of him because he puts out so many books, and I know for an almost definite fact that he is, in fact, writing them all, which is
Oh,
something you
yeah.
cannot say about other authors who are putting out as many books as him, the James Pattersons of the worlds. Like, I respect that so much in today's age. This man is just cranking out book after book. And I mean, his fans, the people who like his books, they're generally well received. Um, so yeah, I've never like been the biggest Stephen King fan. I think w- we've definitely talked about him before on the podcast, and I can't remember if it was in the context of Joe Hill, because we talked about Black Phone. Is that when we
That's
talked
right.
about Stephen King?
It has to be.
Yeah, because so I wanted to look up. I don't do a lot of research for this podcast, but I think in that episode, I remember feeling kind of silly because I just kept thinking we were talking about Joe Hill, but we kept bringing up Stephen King again, I think in that episode. But
Well, because that movie felt like a bad Stephen King story.
yes, exactly. Um, and Stephen King has never felt gothic to me, but I could
Mhm.
not put my finger on why. So I did some searching. I just tried to figure out if anyone else feels this way. I was looking up like Stephen King gothic books, and there was this thread on gothicromanceforum.com.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
the thread started in 2007. The response I want to highlight is from 2009. So basically, the question is, did Stephen King ever write any Gothic novels? And obviously, the people responding, they're on this website, the Gothic Romance Forum. And so there's some who, point out a couple of things. But this response, I was like, this sums up exactly how I feel. And I'm so happy. I'm so thankful for the user Romantic Dress. Thank you so much, Romantic Dress from 2009. I hope you're doing great. They said, Stephen King is the opposite of Gothic romance. No costumes, castles, graveyards, clean, literate dialogue, etc. He likes sleazy and realistic touches. I am not a fan because I'm a hopeless romantic, is what they said. Which
Okay.
was like, I feel like that hits the nail on the head for me. Specifically, we stretch the term Gothic a lot. So there are plenty of things that we think are Gothic that don't have the costumes, castles, graveyards, that stuff. But it was more when they said sleazy and realistic touches.
Mhm.
I was like, I
Mhm.
think that's the aspect that really disconnects him from me and Gothic, and why I just don't always resonate with his writing. Because obviously
Mhm.
I like reading more Gothic, like, Gothic to me is a little bit more flowery and has flourishes, and he does not, which is not a bad thing. It's just not my taste all the time. Um, I just thank you so much, gothicromanticforum.com. I need to explore the website more.
I'm so glad this discussion went on for 2 years.
Yes, right? Yeah, and it's been, thank you, internet gods, for keeping it around for another, God, what are we at now? Like over 15
I don't even
years?
wanna think about it.
Um, but there are definitely people who think that he is Gothic. There is a book available called like, I think I already forget the entire title, like Stephen King on Gothic or something. And it's a whole book, and there is a chapter on misery. Um,
Oh,
you can get the book on Hoopla if your library subscribes to
with
Hoopla.
your library card.
Yeah. Um, I won't get into it too much because the writing was very dense. But that's my general feelings on Stephen King.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't connect with him. I like the
Yeah.
the word sleazy. Like, I
Sleazy.
'cause I can like sleazy things, but
Mhm.
something about Stephen King's brand of sleazy, I don't
Yes.
like.
Yeah. I think he really, like, I'm thinking of, he came out with those books not that long ago that I actually really want to read. It's like Joyland.
Mm,
Um, and the cover it's like that very, what's the term?
pulp.
Um, pulp, very pulpy, very, yeah, sleazy, I think is very apt. And as a hopeless romantic, I don't like it.
I I just find him kind of obnoxious. He has a
Mm,
lot of things that show up repeatedly in a lot of his books that I find annoying. One of which
yeah.
is how, um, in a Stephen King book, a lot of times a woman's emotions will be telegraphed through her nipples. Um,
Oh, is he one of those?
be on nipple watch whenever you read a Stephen King novel because at some point they'll like retract in fear or like perk up with excitement. They're like little antenna. Like it's
Yeah,
just it's like a dragonfly's antenna like in her bra. It's just so annoying.
that's
And
funny. I never noticed that.
heaven help any black character in a Stephen King novel, they'll probably die trying to help the white
Yes.
character.
Yep.
That happens many times.
Yeah. Stephen King,
And
I think, is notorious for using the trope, the like magical Negro and magical Native American. I think he's pulled off on it, but yeah, I know a lot of his earlier writing was very reliant on that.
and I know he's from the woods of Maine,
Yeah.
but he'll come up with these turns of phrase as if people say these things. I can't think of
Mm,
one off the top of my head, but I just
yeah.
can't imagine anyone saying it. The one that comes up to mind because I read 2 books of his that both had lesbian characters in them, and I think in
Yeah.
both of them, someone disparagingly refers to them as crack snackers,
Okay.
and I just can't imagine anyone saying that other than
Yeah.
Stephen King.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I will say we read The Girl Who Loves Tom Gordon for a book club recently, and I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10, and it was like shoulders above everyone else's review. Like, everyone rated it so poorly. And I have to say, I liked it because I don't know, there's something very charming like, I feel like a lot of the reasons why you don't like him, I find kind of charming, um, because I like the idea of this, like, especially when he was writing that book, like, this super coked out guy writing from the point of view of, like, a 12-year-old. Like, I think that is very funny, and I think he did a good job. Like, everyone was like, "Oh, the little girl, she was so stupid, why, I would never," and I was like, "Would? I was a dumb kid." Like, I don't know. There's something charming to me about Stephen King, but I get it. Like, again, like, I haven't really, at the same time, resonated with a lot of his writing, so I 1000% support someone who does not, uh, resonate with Stephen King.
Did you read The Girl with Tom Gordon or listen to the audiobook?
So I listened to the audiobook this time with, who is the
Anne H.
Anne H, yes, but I have read the book too.
Okay,
Um,
I've listened to the audiobook, and I really liked that audiobook. It's a really good
yes,
production, and she is phenomenal.
yes, she's really good. I think did we maybe I just talked to you about it outside of the podcast, but I thought maybe it was one of my, like, recommended or something at one point because I feel like we talked about Anne Heche and her, um, career as an audiobook narrator. It was a very good fit for her.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, or when we talked about the Psycho,
Yes, yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Or Birth, she's in Birth too. Anne H comes up a lot on
Right.
this podcast.
Yes, she does. Her and, I already forget her name, the woman that we thought we were never gonna talk about again.
Lauren Bacall,
Lauren
yeah.
Bacall.
They're official members of the That's So Gothic universe, extended
Yes.
universe. So let's get into the Gothic
Yeah.
elements of Misery.
Mhm.
Our Gothic elements are as follows: a girl, a guy, a house, and a haunt. So often the girl doesn't always have to be female, but
Mhm.
is someone who is drawn into a situation that they do not expect. Things get spiral out of control and they're isolated from everyone else. So it seems to me that our girl is Paul.
Yeah. Paul is trapped. Paul is I mean, he's literally trapped in, this psychological horror. Yeah.
He doesn't do much. I think
No.
our normal gothic girlies will try to get out of the situation, but he just
Yeah.
lays there a lot.
Yeah, I will say I something I had kind of forgotten about the movie and appreciated it upon rewatch was how long and how good, um, I forget her name already, Annie,
Mhm.
um, her like, if I had woken up in his situation, I probably would've felt fine and been happy. Like, she is so cloyingly sweet. She's so, like I'd be thrilled to wake up in this house. Like, she's, like, making soup and, like, tending his wounds and, like, being so sweet and heaping all of this praise on him. Like, she really does a good job of, like, getting him comfortable at the beginning, I will say.
I agree. I support her 100%, frankly.
Yes. Throughout the whole thing, I mean, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he's written these books, these romance novels with a character named Misery Chastain,
Yes.
and Kathy Bates just adores Misery.
Loves Misery, is obsessed with her, definitely living vicariously through her in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Do you think that that makes Annie the so-called guy in this situation?
I mean, I think yes, like, in a very literal sense, I think she's the guy. I mean, she was that was another thing that I had kind of forgotten about before rewatching this movie was I was thinking, like, how did what are the circumstances that got him into the situation? I thought it was a little
Mhm.
bit too convenient, and then you find out that she had been sort of stalking him and following him and found out what hotel he was staying at and stuff. So there was definitely an aspect of, um, going out of her way to get him, which I think is, like, a pretty guy move.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Do you
But
agree? Do you
this
think she's the guy?
I do. It's not quite the same because there is
Yeah.
such a element of almost convenience to it. She lucks
Mm,
out that he gets into this accident,
yeah,
and it would have been different if she had managed to kidnap him or seduce him
right.
or something like that. So it's a different inciting incident than a
Mhm.
lot of the times.
To be fair, though, do you think the inciting incident is the accident and him even showing up, or do you think it's you do you believe that he would have been sort of released and freed and had, not gone through this if his book that was published during the time upset her so much?
That's true. Yeah, she gets
Yeah.
upset because he kills off the character,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
yeah, if he'd written a different book, he never would have been in this situation.
Yeah. Like, I genuinely think she probably would have just let him go on and live her life because to her, she would have been just so thrilled that she had the experience, you know, sent him on his maybe she would have become a stalker of him in the city, like, a thousand different things could have happened, but, like, to me, the actual sort of inciting incident is the book.
That's true, and that kind of makes him a guy in a sort of
Mm,
way because, he's lured her and his readers into this situation with this character,
right.
and as he tells his agent, he has soured on the character, and
Yeah,
without any regard to how the his readers will feel,
yeah,
he has killed this character in this selfish move to
right.
kinda get him out of it. He's managed to profit from these people reading his books for long enough, and now he's sick of it, so he's gonna
Yep.
kill them off and just cut off ties and move on, which is
Yeah,
a very abuser thing to do.
that's true. That's true.
That's why we like her. She is just fighting back against her abuser, even if he is incapacitated in a bed.
Exactly. Yeah.
We have a house. She lives in a house.
Yeah. I don't like, do you ever see the outside of it?
You must so I will say I don't remember the outside of the house at all, and I
Yeah.
was Googling to see like, it was a set, of course, but I was trying
Yeah.
to see if like, was there an exterior? There must have been an
Yeah.
exterior shot because people, like, on Etsy sell, like,
Yes.
paintings of it and stuff, but I
Yeah.
don't remember it at all.
I feel like it's a big part of the, like, marketing, like, I think there are a couple of books with, like, the exterior shot, like, I'm imagining the little cabin with, like, a little light on, like, a snowy hilltop thing. Um, oh, yeah, because I will say, like, I thought that we should do this episode because it's been so cold and snowy in New England the past couple of weeks, and this
Mm,
felt very apt. So, I think the setting of the snow and the just immovable, you know, y like, I think if you are not living in an area with that much snow, it's hard to understand. I mean, you literally cannot move sometimes.
mhm.
If someone isn't plowing you out, like, you're fucked, like, you're stuck in the house. Um, so to me, that's more the house. It's not widely explored, and it's not necessarily a good one, but I think that's more of the setting than just plain old house.
And the isolation of it, that's something that
Mm,
resonates for me, is that
yes,
the isolation, and that's also true with the
yeah,
snow. You're snowed in, you're stuck with whoever you're with at
yeah,
that time. Sometimes that's nice, sometimes it's not.
yes, yeah, and I mean, and it's true, like, before cell phones, like, if your phone lines could be out, you could be without cable, electricity. I mean, even now, I lost power today because of some wind. Like,
Mhm.
you can really be cut off from the world.
And this character gets stuck in that bedroom, making it even more isolating.
Mm,
And I was just thinking
yes.
about there's the other Stephen King story, Gerald's Game, where it's a
Ooh,
woman that's stuck in a bedroom. That's an issue
yes.
for Stephen King. All we've been doing as a society is subsidizing Stephen King's therapy for decades. Like, what happened to Stephen King where being stuck in a bed has traumatized him so much that he's had to explore this in multiple novels?
That is very funny. Like, very true. Like, I cannot imagine that he goes to a therapist.
Ugh, absolutely not. I just wanna bring him to bed. Stevie, show me where the bed hurt you. Like, what happened to you in bed? But then again, I probably don't wanna know.
That's true.
So our haunt is, I think, like, parasocial relationships.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I will say like I said, I didn't really read it that much, but the book Gothic Stephen King, it was very, very, it was very well researched, I should say, but I guess in another way, it was, very, um, academic and wordy, but they kind of made I think I'm sorry, I'm kind of, like, going off on a tangent, but I think the book deals with this a little bit better than the movie, and I think it's one of the things I'm missing from the movie is in the book, it really takes him a long time to write the next, what's the word? She wants him to write a new Misery to make
Mm,
up for the fact that
yep.
he killed her. It takes him a really long time in the book, because he's struggling with writer's block, and that's sort of like a common theme. Um, I just thought it was kind of funny because this book, The Gothic Stephen King, kind of brings up writer's block as like this ultimate horror. Um, and I guess it's like kind of true, but it was very funny to me to read because I'm just thinking of her like slamming his foot with a sledgehammer and like his internal monologue is just like, oh, it's just writer's block though. That's the worst. Like that's the worst thing for a white man writer.
Oh, for Stephen King, 100%.
Oh,
That's always the
that's
issue.
true.
It all comes down to the writing. Oh,
Yes.
no. I'm
Yeah.
stuck in a hotel and I can't write, or
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
chained to a bed and I can't write, or
Yes.
I don't know. There's other people I'm sure who can't write.
Yeah, the ultimate horror,
I can't
writer's
write over
block.
the sound of these lesbians crack snacking outside. Like, I just can't concentrate.
So, yeah,
Ay, ay,
parasocial
ay.
relationships and writer's block, the 2 most horrifying things to Stephen King.
Oh, this man.
Oh,
Part of
okay.
me, I imagine what I was reading, I just looked up an article like, what are the differences between the
Mm,
book and the movie? And being a Stephen King book, it's sleazier, as you
mhm.
mentioned. I guess she chops off his feet with an axe in the book.
Oh, both of them?
At least one.
Yeah. Okay.
And so there's a little more violence. It's
Mm,
a little nastier in the book. There's part of me that would be curious to see an adaptation of this that is scary or that is creepy or gross in some way, because this one is not to me.
yeah. This one is definitely more thriller. Wouldn't consider it a horror movie. Um, yeah. I will say though, that ankle breaking scene though is pretty traumatizing. And I wonder almost if that would be worse than just having the feet cut off, like as a
Mhm.
scene, because you know they would have to cut away at least for part of that if she cut off the feet. You see her just annihilate this ankle. It's pretty brutal.
That's a really good point, actually, especially with this being a studio Hollywood film. They wouldn't
Mm.
have leaned into that gore element as much.
I also really do like, in the final fight, there's the really cheesy effect of she falls and hits her head on a typewriter, and her, like, whole just head explodes. It's great. It looks so bad.
Of course, it has to be a typewriter.
Yes. Oh, of course. Of course. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Um, I don't think we have any bonus gothic elements in this.
No.
She seems
No,
like a woman that should have a cat, but she doesn't.
she doesn't, but she has a pig named Misery. And I would just so this actually has, like, almost nothing to do with the movie. I just thought it was kind of funny. So I was trying to figure out what happened to the pig after this movie. No clear answers. One Reddit thing I saw said that it was probably a so this is just completely
Stop.
unsubstantiated, but someone said that it was probably a circus pig because it was so well trained, which I thought was very funny. Um,
I
but
didn't even know a circus pig was a thing.
it's just some
Does it
random person on
juggle?
Reddit.
What else does it
Yeah.
do?
But since I had gotten that great information, from Reddit, I decided to Google search, what happened to the pig after Misery Reddit. I added it to the end.
Mm.
And so again, this has like nothing to do with the movie, but I just think it's very funny. So I think Google AI is amazing for so many things. We love Google AI. I hate their search results. They have I I hate the Google AI search results so much with such a burning passion. I think it's a feature that needs to be removed. It's doing more harm than good. Um, because if you search what happened to the pig in misery, Reddit, it comes up. According to discussions on Reddit, there was no actual pig used in the film Misery. The misery referred to in the title is the name of the fictional novel written by the character Annie Wilkes, not a live animal. Therefore, there is no pig to discuss its fate after the film. And then it says, it gives you like the
Wow.
key points, and it says key points to remember. No real pig. Misery in the misery in the movie is the name of a book, not a pig character. Misconception. Some people might mistakenly believe a pig was used in the film due to the character Annie Wilkes' extreme obsession with the fictional misery. So that's not a real pig.
Wow. Also rude to Kathy Bates. It's like, you thought it was a pig, but it was really just Kathy Bates.
Just a
Really
fucking
rude,
idiot.
Google. Really rude.
I just
That's a really good one.
misconception. There is no pig. We all had a fever dream. There's no pig in misery. Shut up about the pig.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I can just hear like the man saying that too, because it's a man
Oh yes, absolutely. Oh, so anyways,
gaslighting us.
I have it out for the Google AI results, not the Google Chat. Um, we love the Google Chat. What's it called? Gemini?
Gemini.
We
Yeah.
love Gemini.
Big Gemini stan.
Yeah, the chat results, I mean the results hard pass. Do not if you do not pay attention to them, scroll a little bit further.
Like Gemini is this intelligent scholar, and
Yes.
the AI results are like Gemini's stoner adult brother who still lives in like the basement.
It really is.
Like that. Like Gemini's like, I'm busy. Like I gotta put
Yeah,
off these search results to someone else, and he was the only one available.
and he was just like, "Fuck it, there's no pig. There's no pig. Stop talking about the pig."
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So, that's the whole reason. I don't know what happened to the pig, and I'm really sad about it. So, if anyone has I mean, I didn't, like, contact anyone, but, like, I searched pretty far, and I could not find any information on the pig, so if anyone has any leads, please let me know.
Yeah, maybe he just went back to the circus.
Yeah, I hope so.
They
I
can't
hope
all
he's
be
looking.
circus pigs. Like Babe couldn't have been a circus pig.
Yeah, well, that's what I was hoping. I was like, "Oh, I hope the pig was in another movie," but as far it has an IMDb page, and, as far as I could tell, it did not act in any other movies. What maybe I'll ask Kathy Bates.
The pig has an IMDb page. Does it have a name? Does the pig have a name?
It's named Misery the Pig on IMDb.
Oh, rude that we don't even
I
know the pig's real
know!
name.
Yes, you're telling me that, I already forgot her name again, um, the classic actress who made a special appearance,
Lauren Bacall.
Paul, gets her own special shout out, and Misery the Pig doesn't.
Introducing Misery the pig.
It's like a sitcom opening and introducing.
What if the pig's name was Bobo Bates?
And that's why she had to change it. She was like, "This is embarrassing."
She applied for her SAG card and they were like, "That name's taken, ma'am." We need a different name. She's like, "Who has it?" They show her the picture of the pig.
She, like,
And she's like
scorns them.
she's
She
like, "I
just
hate
shows
them,
up
but I wanna work with them in my next
like,
movie."
shows up on set. She's like, "Oh."
Damn you, Bobo Bates. Oh my goodness. Wow, this pig is a delight.
I love the pig. The pig does a really good job. I really wanna know what happened to the pig.
Best pig.
Best pig. Best pig
That'll
award at
do,
the
pig.
Oscars.
Yeah.
It broke Harvey Weinstein's streak. Best pig award.
Oh my god. I've always thought there should be, like, a best animal award at the Oscars.
There really should be. They all do really good work.
Mhm. I agree.
Yeah, anyways. But besides that, no bonus Gothics.
Maybe if we can get more pigs, we need more pigs in our Gothic
We
stories.
do, we do. If we get one more movie with a pig, we can add it.
I'll start brainstorming.
Okay.
I always wanna talk about Babe Pig in the City.
Mm.
So we
Well,
can
I was
make that
gonna
happen.
say, in research of trying to figure out what happened to this pig, I came across, because I can't remember what it was. It must have been some forum, probably Reddit, someone talking about well, you know what I think it was is I think it was like a Google AI generated thing because it was like basically saying like, "We don't know what happened to Misery the pig, but the pig from the Nicolas Cage movie Pig died, like, very shortly after the movie came out." Yeah, of,
No.
like, a movie place accident. Yeah,
No.
so,
Oh,
um, yeah, so that one's gone,
that's
but, I mean,
sad.
I've never seen Pig. I feel like it'll make me cry, and even more so now, um,
It's a great
so,
movie.
yeah, I should watch it, but I hope he got I don't think it was, but it should have been on the in memoriam at the Oscars that year,
The pig.
The Pig. So, yeah, we need more pig movies. I love pigs.
I call In Memoriam the best dead person award because they try to get people not to clap, but they always clap. And it's like, who's gonna get the most claps? And it's always bad where it's like, to be like rest in peace, Gene Hackman. Everybody will
Yeah,
be applauding. Oh my
yes,
gosh,
right.
and then it'll be like,
This random
second script supervisor,
yeah,
like Ethel Keys, and it's just like
yeah,
silence.
it's like one person in the back.
Their son is just like, "Mom." Like, it's just no one's clapping. That's misery right there. But
Sorry.
my goodness. Well, with all of this in consideration,
Mhm,
we have our girl, Paul. We have our
mhm,
guy, Annie, or vice versa.
mhm.
We have our house, and we have our haunt, a parasocial relationship,
Yep.
and semi-bonus gothic, a pig. Do you think this movie is so gothic, goth-ish, or no gothic?
I don't think it's gothic. I'm gonna give it a no gothic. How do you feel?
Going into this, I was thinking goth-ish,
Yeah,
but the more we talk about it, I don't think it is. I think that the novel would definitely not be gothic, even though I haven't
yeah.
read it. There's something about the, not to use a pig pun, but the hamminess of the Kathy Bates performance,
Yeah.
no pun intended, that I do think nudges this into gothic territory because we
Mm,
are getting the melodrama
that's
of it.
true. That is true.
But I think the flaccidness of the James Caan character
Yeah,
and the lack of a strong, we have the isolation, but the lack of a strong
yeah,
setting
yeah,
are strikes against it.
yeah. You could this is one of those movies where it's not necessarily bad, but it doesn't really meet our criteria. But
Mhm.
you could give it some, like, gothic niche. Like, you could it's, like, not gothic with a little bit of gothic sprinkles.
It's got some gothic sprinkles, some gothic
Yeah.
jimmies, depending on
Yes.
which region of the country you're in, yes.
Yes, exactly.
We've talked about doing The Shining on this podcast before, but,
Mm,
like, we can't think of what we could possibly add.
yeah, I
Um,
don't think there's anything.
so it makes sense that we did this one as, like, the next most gothic, perhaps, Stephen King story.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and I think specifically adaptation, because on the Romantic Gothic forum, one of the answers did go into a couple of his texts that might be more gothic. So if you're interested, go to
Hmm,
romanticgothicforum.com. I think that's what it was. I think it said they thought Key, which I've never read and I don't know anything about. They said something about it being pretty gothic. I don't know.
okay, interesting.
I don't know. But, let us know if you think there's any Stephen King adaptations that are gothic.
Yeah, let us know, we'll discuss them
Absolutely.
eventually when I get the energy to swallow another Stephen King story. He should be
Yeah,
paying me at this point to read and watch this shit.
yeah, and analyze it. We're giving him free therapy.
Yes, we have been for
Yeah,
generations.
it's so funny.
Are there any memorable scenes we missed that you would like to discuss?
No, not really. I do really like just quick shout out. I love the sheriff and his wife. They have very cute banter. I like them a lot.
They do.
Um
We I overlooked them,
yeah.
unfortunately, but they're very 90s. Like, we always
Yes.
had that character in these 90s movies where it's has this the story has this horrific undertone, but we don't want the audience to really think about that too much. So we need we need some comic
Well,
relief
yeah,
in there. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I like them. I think they're very funny. And I do think they add to the atmosphere in the sense of like, the sheriff is he's the sheriff, he's the postman, he's the mayor, like he's everything, and it really just goes to show how isolated, this town is.
That's true.
Yeah, so I love them. They're cute.
They were cute. They are funny. The first time this was the second time I watched this movie, and I was kinda like, "Nah." The first
Yeah,
time I watched it, I remember finding them really amusing and
yeah, they're
laughing.
great. How about you? You got any scenes you wanna dabble on? Zilch.
Nope.
Yep.
This
Perfect.
I'm like Roger Ebert. This is a fine movie. It
Mhm.
works.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just not my type of movie.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
since I didn't see it when I was a kid, I probably saw this 3 years ago for the first time.
Oh,
So
really?
it kind of, like, exists in cultural consciousness, and I had
Mm.
these really big expectations for it. And
Yeah.
I was not expecting it to be as campy as it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. It definitely has some camp. It's kind of strange because it exists in this very campy area, but also it does feel I will say I lost interest in like the last 30 minutes. Like it does feel kind of long and drawn out. But at the same time, like I said, in the book, I think it's supposed to be even more like exhaustingly long. Um,
Mm.
so it kind of exists in this weird space.
Stephen King is exhausting for sure. And
He's
long. Like,
yeah. He's
that's
exhausted. He's typing away. And he
he's
doesn't even do
retired
coke
like at
anymore.
least 2 or 3 times and he
Yeah,
keeps coming back.
keeps coming back. It's like a boomerang.
Mm. Well, what non-Stephen King things have you been enjoying lately?
Well, so it's funny because I was trying to think of before we started recording, like, okay, what have I really enjoyed? Like, what has brought me joy the past couple of weeks? And so I recently watched all 10 of the Best Picture nominations, and it was honestly exhausting, and I don't want to talk about any of them here. Um,
That sounds like a gothic horror, being locked
yeah,
in a
it
room and forced
I
to watch all Oscar-nominated films.
it did feel it did feel extremely exhausting, especially when I saved The Brutalist for the last. Talk about
Mm-mm.
brutal.
Mm-mm.
Um, but I think the thing that just brought me the most joy this past week that I couldn't stop smiling at is Walter Goggins, our favorite, Mr. Goggins, did an Architectural Digest home tour.
What?
It's lovely. It's so lovely. I've already watched it twice. I cannot recommend it enough. It came out like, I don't know, 4 days ago. I love it. He has the most beautiful, exquisite. Actually, it's so funny. So Misery took place in Colorado, but I feel like it could take place in like upstate New York or New England. It could kind of take place any snowy.
Maine.
Yeah, exactly. His house is in, I think the Catskills in New York. Um, it's this beautiful historic hunting lounge, hunting whatever. He renovated it. It's just so lovely. I never realized how much I love like masculine um home decor until I watched this. I was like, it just feels so warm and inviting. He has like leather everywhere, real fireplaces everywhere. He has this great line where he talks about where like one of his big philosophies is you can never have to walk more than 3 or 4 feet without finding a place to sit and have a drink. I love that. I love it so much.
Ah,
Blown away. And it's so cute. He has like cute little memorabilia, so he's sprinkling in things about he has a picture of him and Timmy Oliphant from when they did Justified, which now I really want to watch Justified. He
ah,
has
2 dreamy men.
he has this great story. I highly recommend you hear it from himself. Um, but when he filmed the Eight, at the end of shooting, Samuel L. Jackson gave everyone pistols with like, special engravings in it, except he gave Jennifer Jason Leigh a Prada bag. And she said, keep the bag, I want a gun. Like, good.
Yes.
But yeah, he's just like he has a whole friggin' wall of hats, because of course he does. Um, he's just I just love him. He again he's a very toothy person. I think I like teeth. Um,
He has a great set of chompers.
Great set of chompers. He has a framed photo of himself ass naked. Um,
I was gonna ask you, I was like, does he have a shirt off during this? Because he loves taking his shirt
no,
off.
no, he doesn't, but
Mm.
he does say, and I can't tell if he was joking. I feel like he's not though. He points outside of a window at one point and he goes, "At any given time, you can see me out there walking around butt naked, reciting lines." Um,
Ah, I hope he invites us over.
I love him so much. It's a really charming video. I highly recommend it. I like watching the Architectural Digest videos, and I kind of like have not been watching them a lot recently, so it also kind of reinvigorated my love for those. Um, but his is just so good. I love it. It's historic.
There's a conspiracy theory that celebrities will do architectural digest tours and then put their homes up for sale within the next year
Ooh.
because the tour will boost the property value.
Yeah.
So start saving. It could be yours.
He does say that he specifically bought that house because he wants to, like, live in it for the rest of his life, so if he
Let's hope
does,
he's
I will
the
be
exception and invites us
yeah.
over.
Like, he talks about how his wife is an amazing cook, he does not cook anything except sourdough, he bakes sourdough. Um, I I wanna go over there so bad, I wanna do it.
Uh, well,
Yeah.
I'll link to it in the show notes for people who
Yes.
want to watch it.
Yeah, and please comment and like the That's So Gothic people. Oh god.
Yes.
It's not it we can make the drive, we'll do it
Oh,
anytime.
yeah, I that's a very nice drive.
Yeah, I've never been, invite me.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, anyways, I love it. I will probably watch it again tonight. Like, I just it's like a
Oh,
comfort meal for me. I love it. Yeah,
thank you for sharing.
of course. Anyways, what have you been enjoying?
I will talk about a manga series that I've been
Ooh,
reading. It's very popular. It's called Spy Family,
okay.
and it's written out as Spy X Family. And I had to Google, do you pronounce the X in Spy X
Yeah.
Family? Everyone on Google says you don't pronounce the X. You just say
Okay.
Spy Family. So it's a manga series. It's currently in 13 English language volumes. The
Mm,
series is still going in Japan. It has a manga and an anime. I didn't get into the anime as much, but I love this manga. So the premise is there's a man who's a spy and he needs to infiltrate the inner circle of this politician. They live in this kind of almost like fictionalized Germany, post-war Germany, where
mm,
there's an East and a West, and they're in conflict, this Cold War type conflict. He's a spy for one side, and he needs to live on the other side and infiltrate them.
mhm,
So, as part of the plan is to get enrolled in this private academy, yada, 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 they'll end up meeting each other. So in order to do that, he has to form a fake family. So he convinces this woman to be his wife, and he adopts this child. What he doesn't know is that his fake wife is a secret assassin, and
mm,
his fake child is a secret telepath, and they're all keeping secrets from each other, and they all have their own goals, but they also all start to really love each other as this little like cobbled together family.
yeah,
And the characters are so good. The main characters are great, but there's all these secondary characters. Like the wife has a brother who is such a simp, but also works for the secret police and
mm,
could kill the husband if he finds out that he's actually
uh-huh,
a spy. And the way they do the relationships is good. The way it's plotted is really good. There's a lot of kind of like episode of the week ones where you just kind of have a goofy little mission and it's funny, and then
nice.
there's some plot ones. But then there was one, I was reading the manga, I literally gasped and set the book down because it was such a fun little chapter. I was like, "Oh, this is one of those zany little comedy
Yeah,
episodes they put in." And then you get to the end and I'm like, "Wait a second." And you turn the page and they drop this like bombshell and I was just like, it
yeah.
was so good. It kind of
Oh,
took me a while to get into it, but then I really got into it. But the best character to me is Anya. She's the little girl. She's
yeah,
in first grade, I think, and she's a moron. And it's so funny because they think she's smart because she reads people's minds
yeah,
and like copies their answers on the tests. But once they put her in the classroom, she's in a room with all these kids and she doesn't know whose mind to read and whose thoughts she's hearing,
yeah.
and she just gets overwhelmed. And she's an idiot, and it's just so funny how stupid she is. And there was this great line, there's a part where all the kids, there's this rumor that when this elite French chef makes these pastries for the kids at school, if you eat one of his macaroons, you will become a genius. And so final exams are coming up, and the kids are trying to get these macaroons. There's 6 kids, and they have 5 cookies. So they decide to play a game to see who will get the 5 cookies. And it comes down to Anya and her rival. And she thinks, if I don't win this, I'm not going to get a cookie and I'll still be dumb. And it's just like the greatest line. Like,
Yeah.
it's just encapsulates her character so well. The artwork in this is really good. Like, I don't know how the manga industry works in Japan, but something's happening here. They have a lot of support. Like, this manga gets
Yeah.
a lot of budget. Like, they
Yeah.
not only have a credit for like story and art, but there's like credits for art support in the back. So there's like a
Ooh.
team that works on this.
Okay.
But the backgrounds are really detailed. Like, I just can get lost
Really?
reading the book. I highly recommend it. And you can get it from your local library. And if you like
Nice.
the anime, I mean, the anime is serviceable.
Yeah.
Um, for me, I don't know if it's because I was reading it first, but I didn't like the voices as much.
Okay.
And I don't really like to watch anime in Japanese because it's kind of a background thing for me. I don't
Yes.
sit there and focus on it.
Yeah.
And I don't like when they have child characters in anime and they dub them in English because it just sounds like an adult doing a child's voice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't
So
think I've experienced that, but I would hate that.
yeah, so the Anya character, who's my favorite character, I just can't. The voice doesn't. It takes me out of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
picky. But anyway, highly recommend. It's a beautiful, beautiful artwork, fun, funny, action packed. It's kind of like it feels like it was made by a committee, but like it also works. Like,
yeah.
they throw in romance and they throw in action and they throw in comedy and like there's all these tropes, but it
Right.
just works really well.
Nice. I'm definitely gonna check that out because one of my issues with manga is sometimes I feel like if I don't fully commit, like I lose interest so I'm excited that there's kind of like episode of the week ones. Feels a little bit more
Yes.
like casual reading at points.
It's not as there's a little bit of like there is an
Yeah.
overarching plot, but frankly, it moves so slow. I
Mm,
mean, I've read 13 volumes. They've barely made any progress on this overarching story.
yeah.
So it moves so slow that you really just kind of go along with their day-to-day lives. It almost feels like slice of life, but
Yeah.
for these extraordinary characters.
Fun. Well, okay.
Yeah, so that's Spy Family.
Yeah. Spy X Family.
Spy X Family, which is how I said it for, I don't
Yeah.
know, the first like 8 volumes. And then I was like, someone else said Spy Family, and I almost
Yes.
corrected them. And then I was like, let me uncharacteristically hold my tongue
Mhm.
and Google first. And then
Yes. Google.
I was glad I did not open my mouth.
Yeah. And then Google AI said, say Spy Family, and you were like, yes. And it's actually Spy.
Google AI said there is no X. It is a misconception that there's an X. No, it might. I don't know. That's what I'll search again. The Google AI said it's actually Spy Pig Family. There's a pig there.
Focus on the pig. There's a pig.
Focus on the pig. Well, thank you, Amanda. And thank you, Ghosties, for listening to us break down Misery. Please subscribe to our Cock-a-Doodie podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and you can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please share us with a friend and let us know if you have any Gothic Stephen King suggestions. Until next time, stay ghosty. Boo bye.